Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is Foundation Friday and I'm going to be reviewing the Bare Minerals Bare Pro Performance Wear Liquid Foundation. Now this foundation is a brand new foundation to Bare Minerals. Bare Minerals initially came out with powder foundations, powder concealers, but now they've kind of implemented some liquid products and they've got their first ever liquid foundation. So I was really excited to try it because one of the claims states that it's 24-hour wear. Now I can't guarantee that it's 24-hour wear because number one, I didn't wear this foundation for 24 hours. Now I did wear it for a long period of time, but not 24 hours, so I can't guarantee that. Now if you're one of those people that wear their foundation for a long period of time, you might want to check this out because it does claim to be 24-hour long wear. Now I wore this foundation for probably at the most 10 hours. And in those 10 hours, it wore beautifully. Now I'm gonna go over the products that I used with this foundation, and I'm also gonna tell you how long those products helped the foundation last. Now, I did not use this foundation on its own. I always use a primer. I use a separate primer for my T-zone than I do for the rest of my face. So I have to show you what I actually used. And I never use this on bare skin. So let's go over the claims of this foundation. Now I'm gonna give you my thoughts as we go through each claim that's stated on the website, and I'll let you know how those claims applied to the wear test that I did for this foundation. Now it does say 24-hour long wear. We've already gone over that. The next thing it states it's a natural matte finish. That is true. It is a natural matte finish. I am wearing the foundation today. It does have a natural matte look. It doesn't look so mattifying that it looks like you have makeup on. It just has this natural matte finish, which I love, especially for the summer months. But it just wears beautifully. As you can see, it just looks very smooth. And I will insert a clip at the end of this video to show you how I applied this foundation and what it looks like. It does state that it blurs pores and imperfections. Now, it did blur the pores on the sides of my nose because that's where I have most of my issues. It did do that. So I will say that that claim is true. As far as imperfections, I really had to spot conceal on some areas, even when I put 2 layers on. So I don't know, if you don't really have any issues with your skin, you're gonna love this because 1 layer is probably gonna do it for you. But if you do have issues like I do, you're probably gonna have to spot conceal, which is not a really big deal if you're used to spot concealing, but it doesn't, I can't say that for sure it 100% blurs your imperfections. Now it does say that it improves skin texture, and it says here that 31 women were tested in a clinical trial and 100% of the participants saw a 36% improvement in skin texture after a first week of wearing it. Now, I've worn it a week. Have I seen a major difference in my texture? No. I don't think 1 week is really going to give you that kind of result. So now it says 36%. So out of 31 women, they really didn't use like 100 women. They used 31. So, I mean, that should tell you something. So it made my skin really look flawless. It really made it look smooth. So I don't think that it improved the texture in 1 week, but I do think that it improved the look of my skin when I wore this. So the look of it while I was wearing it looked really good. But as far as improvement, when I took the makeup off, I didn't see any improvement. It does provide broad spectrum SPF 20. This foundation actually comes in 30 shades, so there's a wide range that you can choose from. It claims to be sweat resistant, water resistant, humidity resistant, and heat resistant. Now, I wore this to work out. I didn't specifically wear it to work out. I was wearing it for about 2 or 3 hours. I went to work out and I did sweat and the stuff didn't move. So, I mean, that right there tells you that it just kind of stayed put. Now, I wasn't dripping with sweat, but I did sweat. I had like little sweat beads on my face. right here on my chin, and it did not budge. So that's a good thing. So that claim is true. Humidity resistant and heat resistant here in Texas when it gets hot and it's very humid, it did hold up in the humidity and the heat. Water resistant, I can't tell you because I didn't have any experience with the water resistant part. But all the other claims that I just stated, this did hold up. Bare Minerals claims that this foundation is transfer resistant. Now, I did wear it with a blue shirt, and when I put the shirt on, you know, I do bring my foundation down to my neck. It did not transfer onto the blue blouse that I had on. So that right there tells me that it is transfer resistant. When I was sweating and I blotted my face with a tissue, it did transfer onto the tissue, and that's probably because I had sweat on me. But other than that, when it was just normal, that shirt did not get makeup on it. So that was a good thing. Crease resistant and smudge resistant. Now, I don't know what they mean by smudge resistant. It does not smudge when I touch it. If that's what that means, it does not smudge. It did not smudge onto my, the little pieces, the little piece that where my glasses sit on my nose. It did not transfer onto that, or that those glasses did not smudge the product. As far as crease resistant, I did not see any significant creasing in my face. Normally I do get creasing here and here, but it was very, very minimal creasing. Everywhere else, it stayed on beautifully. It's hypoallergenic, dermatologist tested. It's designed for all skin types, so it doesn't matter if you're oily, you're dry, a combo. I do believe that if you're really dry, you might have maybe just a tad bit issue with this, and I'll tell you why. When you apply this foundation, it's like you're having to really work with it. And if you've got dry patches on your face anywhere, I guarantee you that it's gonna adhere to those dry patches, because you're having to literally work with this foundation. Even though it's liquidy, there's something in this formula that doesn't allow you to blend it easily. So if you have dry patches, it's going to, I feel like when you're putting it on that it probably will adhere to some of the dry patches. So use a really, really good moisturizer before you put your makeup on. It says it's oil-free, paraben-free, sulfate-free, fragrance-free, and it says that none of the products are tested on animals. Now, it doesn't have a scent. It doesn't have a scent, so the claim of fragrance-free is true. So it also claims that it has good for skin ingredients. So it says that it has bamboo stem extract, which allows for the naturally soft matte finish. It also has white papaya enzymes that gently improve skin's texture both immediately and over time. This also claims that it's good enough for your skin to sleep in it. If you're one of those people, I am one of those people. Once in a while, I will sleep in my makeup. I don't mean to, it just happens. But I get lazy and I don't wash my makeup off. Now, I try not to do that, but it's happened before. This one claims that those good for your skin ingredients allow you to sleep in this foundation. That you're not gonna get, your pores aren't gonna clog and you're not gonna break out. So I don't know if that's true. I have not slept in this foundation, nor will I test it out like that, because like I said, it's happened to me before, but I really try not to sleep in makeup. So now I'm gonna go over the products that I used with this foundation and let you know how long it lasted. I used the MAC Prep and Prime Skin Refined Zone Treatment and the Sephora Beauty Amplifier Mattifying H2O Gel Primer. Now these primers are what I used in my T-zone. This one worked great with the foundation. This one it worked great with the foundation only up to probably 5 hours of wear. So this one, after using it, I tested it twice. I actually tossed it. This on my T-zone, every single day, I used it and it worked beautifully. The foundation did not break up, nor did it get oily in my T-zone. So that was a good thing. Now I used 3 primers. I used Too Faced Hangover 3-in-1 Replenishing Primer and Setting Spray. I used the MAC Prep and Prime Natural Radiance Primer. And I also used the Smashbox Photo Finish Primerizer, which I've been loving. So I used 3 primers, and the reason being is because this one I've been loving, and I just wanted to test it out with the foundation, because whenever I'm going to test a foundation, I'm actually going to use it with the primer that I actually use on a daily basis. So that's the Smashbox Primerizer. I wanted to use it with the MAC Prep and Prime Natural Radiance Primer because this one gives your skin a little more radiant look to it. And it's in the color Radiant Yellow. I know they can have a pink one, but I got the yellow one. I use this one for that purpose because it is more of a radiant finish. It gives a little glow to the skin, and then setting a naturally matte foundation on your skin, it's gonna look a little more, I guess, give it just a tiny bit more luminosity. And the next thing I used was the Hangover 3-in-1. This spray I absolutely love. Now I don't like the way it sprays on your face because it goes everywhere and it drenches you. But I do like how it helps some of my foundations have a little bit more longevity when wearing them. I use this as my primer, and I actually use it to set my face once I put my makeup on. So with those 3 primers, they all worked well with the foundation. I didn't have the foundation break up on my skin. It didn't look blotchy or patchy. It went on smoothly and beautifully on the skin, and it just lasted pretty much all day with those primers. And like I said, I do use a primer with all my foundations. So when I do these reviews, I want to give you a true review of how I would actually wear the foundation. It doesn't make sense for me to give you a review where I'm putting on the foundation on bare skin and I'm not using any primer, because that's not how I actually wear my makeup on a daily basis. So that's why I use the primers. And in these videos, I want to use more than one primer because you may not have the Smashbox Primerizer, and I want to give you just a different feel of how this foundation would work with other primers. So if you have this Hangover 3-in-1, you'll know how it works with it. And if you don't, you're going to try to find a primer that works for you and that actually might be comparable to any one of the primers that I'm showing you. So either way, those 3 primers worked wonderfully with the foundation. I loved the way it looked. They lasted all day long, and I say all day, up to 10 hours. Now this foundation I wore up to 10 hours, and 10 hours is to me is a good time length to let you know how that foundation worked. And like I said, it's just beautiful. It's very soft on the skin. I have it on today, like I said, and it's just very soft on the skin, and I absolutely love it. I don't know if I told you, but I am in the color Sable 21, and this is like the best color for me. I did set the foundation with either the Next to Nothing powder, the pressed powder, or the Well People powder that comes in this little container. This Well People you can get at Target. It's like one of the best setting powders I've ever tried. Compared to my La Mer, which is very costly, I always reach for this one. I mean, I try to use the La Mer because I don't like spending money and not using the product, but this one is my go-to right now, just to set my T-zone and sometimes to set under my eyes, but I really love the Well People. And the Next to Nothing powder, you guys know this is a powder that I love, and I love the way it sets with this powder as well. So these two powders are what I actually set the foundation with. Okay, so initially when I applied this foundation, I used this e.l.f. brush. And this brush is a great foundation brush, and it's only like, I wanna say it's like $5 at Target. So I used this one, and I loved using this one with it. And I'm sorry guys that it's dirty. I need to wash my brushes, I just haven't had time. But I used this brush and it went on really nicely. Now, the only thing is I wanted to use something just a little more dense. Now, there is a brush that Bare Minerals states comes with the foundation, but I did not buy that brush. I feel like I have enough brushes here that I can try, and there's so many brushes out there that you can use that aren't gonna cost that much. And I really feel like a lot of foundations you can use with either a beauty blender or a brush that you have at home. So that's what I did. I used the e.l.f. brush, and I really like the application with the e.l.f. brush. Now, this is the brush that I actually loved using for the application, and it's a Morphe M439. And it's a more, to me it feels a little more dense. It's a little more dense. And it feels like it actually feels like it grabbed the product and was easier to blend with this brush. Not to say that the e.l.f. brush did not blend easily either, but I just felt it was easier with this one. So I did try to go in and use a beauty blender, and guys, that looked horrible. It looked cakey on my skin when I applied it with the beauty blender. I mean, I really tried to work it in with the beauty blender and it did not work for anything. So I went back to the brush because the application with the brush was just a lot nicer for me. And I used, when I went in with the brush, and you'll see in the video, I actually go in and I kind of just go in long strokes. And it's not like, you know, blending like that. I actually go in with longer strokes just to kind of blend everything in, and you'll be able to tell in the video. But like I said, beauty blender was a no-no for me. So if you want to see how the foundation blended and how I applied it with this brush, then let's get to the video. that's the end of my review. So glad that I could share my thoughts with you on the Bare Minerals Bare Pro Foundation and how I applied it. And let me know if there's a specific foundation that you want to see in the comments below. So if you want to see something different, something that maybe you're interested in knowing how well it lasts and how well it works, then let me know down below in the comments, and I'll do my best to get that out to you. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and thank you for joining me with my Foundation Friday series. And I can't wait to share another one of these videos with you. Thanks again, and we'll see you soon. Bye.